Welcome to Inside Plug, the podcast where independent creators and entrepreneurs connect and inspire. I'm Devon Jones, a military veteran turned filmmaker. I found my spark in the military, and now I'm here to help you find yours. Inside Plug is a platform for your voice, stories to be shared, and ideas to flourish. Let's dive in and plug into creativity and entrepreneurship together. Today on our show, we have actor Quinn. He played in a show called The Strange Case of Dr. Dillon, and it was played at the Camden People's Theater. Cloud, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Glad to have you on. So The Strange, we're just going to jump right into it because I'm really interested in hearing about this story and how you got started. The Strange Case of Dr. Dillon. So first, if you can let us know, is Dr. Dillon, was it a real character that the story is based on? And how did this story come about?
Thank you. Yes, so this is a real person who led an extraordinary life, and I read his autobiography a few years ago while I was doing some research for LGBT History Month. And obviously, being a trans man myself as an actor, I always love to hear background stories, history about other trans men, as we're often not as in the spotlight as perhaps other groups. And I got the idea in my head that I was going to write a play about him and I was going to play him. And so it evolved that I could tell the story of how he grew up in the 1920s on the south coast of England, much like myself, with Irish heritage, much like myself. And he grew up to transition, and it was believed to be the first person to do so. And he became a doctor, and he became a Buddhist monk in India, which was, he was probably the first person to do that as well. So there's a lot to work with, and I really enjoyed writing it, and we had a really great response from the audience, so I couldn't be happier.
That's awesome. So, did you have to travel to meet some of his relatives, or how did you gather the information on Dr. Dillon?
So as well as reading his autobiography, I read some biographies that had been written, primarily by Liz Hodgkinson, who attended the play. She essentially discovered this autobiography and was able to bring it out into the light. So it was great to be able to meet her and pick her brain. And obviously, a lot of background research just on the time was important, what with it being a period drama. So what was life like at a university in the 1930s, and what was life like in a hospital in the 1950s. So there was a lot of internet research as well to sort of fill in those blanks and bring the world to life.
Nice. All right. So with this topic, I wouldn't say this is a new topic, but how was it breaking this topic into, the filmmaking world over there, like getting into film festivals or getting into the theater? Like how did you guys break that project into getting it recognized? Because the reviews are great.
Oh, thank you. I mean, we did work just the two of us as a two-hander, so that made life a lot easier in terms of not needing a lot of space to rehearse and being able to play different characters and take a slightly more surreal approach to some parts of the casting. And reaching out to LGBT organizations to promote it, and reaching out to theatres that were running the Fringe Festival, and so would be able to give us time in the theatre up against another performance. So that makes things, A, a bit more affordable, and B, it sort of helps us to support each other as artists, so we can promote the other shows that are on at the same time. We can go watch them and see what they're doing brilliantly. So it's a really nice, atmosphere of the festival, as you say.
Nice. Could you share what was some of the challenges and obstacles that y'all faced? Whether it's production, pre-production, or even performing.
Yeah, great question. I think just trying to do it all ourselves without funding, it was just very hard work. And we are hoping to apply for funding to extend the production and do more performances. So that would be really great. But yeah, as I'm sure you're aware of yourself from all your brilliant work, it's very, very difficult for artists who don't have, a lot of money behind them to be able to get their work out there.
That's true. I understand that experience. So you say you're looking to expand, the production. What other venues that you have in mind that you're looking to get the project in?
So I would love to take it on tour, actually. Yeah, maybe even bring it to Dublin and to New York, because the autobiography was actually published in New York, so I think there'll be a lot of interest amongst the community there to see it. So yeah, very much hoping to take it on the road.
Nice, definitely. New York will love it. I'm from New York. I was born there. Yes, definitely. New York will love this project. All right. So let's step away from the strange case of Dr. Dylan for a second. Let's talk about Quinn as an actor. How did you start, and what was your first audition like?
Oh, okay. So I mean, I've always wanted to be an actor, but I sort of came into training later. I've done some other jobs. I've been teaching. I've done some software engineering, and I finally decided to bite the bullet and train a couple of years ago. And I think a lot of people will relate to what I'm going to say about the pandemic and how it just kind of gave us a lot of time to think about, you know, who we are and what we really want. And it really encouraged me to take that step. So I was able to get an audition for an audiobook called 13 Stories by Jonathan Sims. If anyone listens to the Magnus Archives, he's the creator of that, and it's a brilliant horror audiobook. And after that led to another one, and it just gave me the confidence to apply for training. So I did some training at Drama Studio London, which is a drama school, and I've continued to do a lot of voice acting, audiobooks, some video games, and of course, producing the play.
Nice, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, so real quick, 'cause you said 13 stories, and then you the school. What was the name of the school again?
Drama Studio London.
Drama Studio London. All right. So if you say you've done voiceover, for voiceover, do you have like specific characters that you like to play? What kind of drives you towards, you know, being the voice for that specific character?
Oh, well, I love working with accents and dialects. So that's always a lot of fun when you can play different characters and sort of differentiate them in slightly different ways. So maybe they've got a slightly different dialect. Maybe they're a little bit slower or a little bit deeper. It's fun doing that because in an audiobook, you get to play every single character. I do a lot of queer literature, trans literature, which I really enjoy. But I think my favorite was actually the second book I did, which was Day Zero by C. Robert Cargill. And I was a nanny AI character who ended up in the middle of the robots v humans war. And it was really cool. Great book.
Nice. That's awesome. All right. So who would you say has been an inspiration on you and, you know, pursuing your, you know, career?
I think my wife, she's an amazing voice actor, and we've been together for quite a long time, and we're just very good at supporting each other, and we've just done this play together. So yeah, she's my inspiration for sure.
That's awesome. Awesome. All right. So real quick, connect yourself with the viewers. Where can they find some of your work at, and where can they look at some of your upcoming projects, and where can they actually check out The Strange Case of Dr. Dylan?
Oh, yeah. So we are very much hoping to film The Strange Case of Dr. Dylan and put that out there. So if you're not able to see us on tour, watch this space for video. The space would be my personal website, cloudquinn.com, and the theatre company's website, brambletheatre.art. And you can also find me on Audible, Instagram, YouTube.
Nice. We'll get those links in the comments so you guys can check out that. All right, awesome. That's great. Are you pretty much tied up right now with The Strange Case, or do you have other projects that you're working on at the same time?
Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of everything, and like most actors, a little bit of non-acting work as well, which is good because it gets me out there meeting people, gets me out my recording booth, and, you know, fuel for inspiration. So yeah, I'm doing a little teaching, I'm doing a little customer service, and I'm also auditioning. So yeah, it's great. Lots of stuff going on. Nice.
So with that creative workload that you have going on, how do you balance yourself between, like, you know, the creativity and your personal life, like to relax and, you know, how do you do that?
Yeah, it is hard, especially living with another actor. So it's important that we do take time to as I say, leave the house, take a walk, go swimming, just get away and do something completely different, because otherwise you can as I'm sure you find yourself, you can obsess over every little detail, and just spend hours and hours on each thing. But yes, that spontaneity and that authenticity is just often there in the first take. So yeah, it's good practice to take a break and then listen to it back, and you'll probably think it was fine.
All right. All right. After you take the break and say, for instance, okay, you're ready to jump back into it. Do you have like a creative routine that you do?
I like to do quite a long vocal warm-up, particularly for voiceover auditions, but also generally because I'm also a musician, so I like to sing. So I think singing is a really great warm-up, as well as doing like some tongue twisters and just talking in different pitches, and just a little facial massage to just try and relax and free up that voice.
All right. So if the film industry was to ask you a question, what is something that you want us to change in the film industry? What would you say?
Ooh, I mean, there's obviously a lot of stuff that's been kind of reckoned with in the last few years in the film industry. Obviously, there's been Me Too, which was a real watershed moment in getting people to think more seriously about the reality of abuse and how it doesn't always look like you might necessarily imagine. So I think it's important that we keep on being vigilant to those risks and making sure that we're not afraid to ask people if they're okay, and that we're catching ourselves if we go, oh, that's probably nothing. It's like, no, it probably is something. So I think that kind of just links to what we were talking about earlier about just actors supporting each other, artists supporting each other, because we can be encouraged to get quite competitive or to sort of be sitting on our own thinking, oh, look at this on Instagram, everybody else is getting awards and doing amazing stuff, but you're only seeing that little filter. So if you step out and congratulate them, you'll probably find yourself part of that world and have more support coming back to you as well. So yeah, I think we should just dive in a little bit deeper and not be afraid to support one another.
True. I agree. All right. So I ask every guest on this show if you can recommend a book, a TV show, or a movie to the next generation, the next upcoming filmmakers. What's something you would recommend? You can choose one from all three, or you can just choose one.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna have to say Star Trek just because it's my absolute favorite. The motion picture, I think, is underrated. It's a beautiful piece of cinema. As well as some great performances. And yeah, I love the Next Generation series as well. I enjoy the new animated one, Lower Decks. So yeah, as a universe, I just think there's something for everyone. Even if you don't like every single series, you'll probably find something you like.
That's awesome. Thanks for that. All right. So we're at our final question. So with filmmaking, they have, AI, they have these drones, they have AR and VR. Where do you see filmmaking in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, I worked briefly at the BBC, and they were doing some very interesting stuff with AI production. So I think it's definitely something that we can benefit from. But particularly as a voice actor, I'm also very concerned that the contracts that we're seeing be stringent about allowing actors to decide how their voices are used, particularly in terms of training AI data sets, because, in some situations, AI voices can be really good. They can increase accessibility. If you've got an instructional manual, there's no reason why that needs to be read by a human. But when you've got an audiobook or an audio drama, it needs that human quality. I do believe that. So I think it's important that we work with it together and not allow capitalism, I suppose, to use it to destroy something as beautiful as human acting.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I agree. All right. So recap real quick. Can you share those names of those audiobooks that you were a part of?
Yeah. So let's see. There was 13 Stories and Day Zero that I mentioned. A couple of young adult works as well. I Was Born for This by Alice Oseman of Heartstopper fame, and Young Gothic more recently, if you enjoy a bit of campy horror. What else? The Manor House Governess. That was another period piece. That was a lot of fun. The Broken Places. which references Ernest Hemingway if you're into your literary fiction, and a couple of full cast audiobooks to working with other actors. One was called Countless Sleepless Nights. That was about coming out stories. So yeah, a real wide range of brilliant books that I've been lucky enough to narrate.
Awesome. I love it. All right. So one last thing. What's something that you want the viewers to take away from this conversation? Something that you want to share with them?
Yeah, just that I think it would be great if there was more representation for trans men in film, and I hope there are more roles written for us. And yeah, if you're out there working on a film and there's a possibility of including us, that would be great.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Fan of the community right here, and also part of the community right here. Thank you again. All right, everyone, thanks for tuning in to Insight Plug. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and found it inspiring. Remember, every journey begins with a single step, and every creator has a story worth sharing. If you love what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review at www.insightplug.com. That's www.insightplug2gs.com. Remember, your feedback helps us bring you more content. Until next time, keep creating. Devon Jones signing off. Stay inspired. Cloud, thank you so much. It's a pleasure having you on.
Thank you so much.